Okay, hi. I know I said I was gonna do Into the Woods, but I've tried doing it 4 times and I kept screwing up in several different ways. So I'll come back to it, don't worry. I love Into the Woods, I'm not gonna skip it. Uh, but instead, I'll do some more Sondheim as the days go by. But right now I'd like to do a show called The Drowsy Chaperone. Now, it has never been done as a film. It was just that one Broadway production in 2006. But I love it. It is just so good that it has to be done. I'd like to see it done as a concert. So now let me just explain to you the premise. There's this man named Man in the Chair. That's all his title is. He's like a hermit, and his passion, excuse me, is Broadway musicals. I have the hiccups. Okay. And he is very musical. He plays a record to the audience, his favorite Broadway musical, The Drowsy Chaperone, which is a fake musical, but it's so good that it really could be a musical. But now, let's just get down to this cast. Like I said, concert. So the Man in the Chair would probably be, even though it's not much of a singing role, I would love to see it done by Martin Short, one of my favorites. Martin Short is a genius. Nathan Lane once said that he was the most entertaining human being on the planet, and I kind of agree with him. But, I think he'd be hilarious for the role. It's a lot of dialogue. He is the lead character in the show because he has the most dialogue. But it's a very, very funny part, and Martin Short would be perfect for it. Now we move into the musical itself. Now it's just about a wedding and the zaniness that happens. Now, let's start with the bride and groom. The bride is Janet Van de Graaff, who is this showgirl who's leaving the stage to marry the love of her life. So that would probably be played by someone who wants to do theater but never has, and really should, Jennifer Love Hewitt. I love Jennifer Love Hewitt. She'd be hilarious as Janet. Then there is her groom, her fiance, Robert Martin, who is this just not the bright, sharpest tool in the shed, but he is. I would like to see him played by Gavin Creel. Gavin Creel is. He was in Hair, he was in Totally Modern Millie, The Revival of Lacage, many shows. But he has an amazing voice, and he can be funny. He can. Then there is, the best man, George, who's just trying to get this wedding down pat. He really does. All he's focused on is getting this wedding running like clockwork. That would probably be Roger Bart. Love Roger Bart. I think he'd be great for this role. Now the wedding's being held at the house of this very ditzy dowager named Mrs. Tottendale, and I would love to see her be played by, someone, maybe some of you are not familiar with her. I am somewhat familiar with her, and I love her. Her name is Julie Walter. She was in Mamma Mia and Harry Potter, but she's just so funny and so nice voice, pretty good voice, but she could be perfect for Mrs. Tottendale. And then there's her butler, Underling, and I would like to see that role played by Gary Beach. Roger Debris, Lumiere, Gary Beach. Maybe he could tone down, like, most of his roles are usually gay men, but maybe he could tone the gayness down a little, maybe make him more straight, because he has to fall in love with her. Then there is the producer of the Feldzig Follies, which Janet Van de Graaff is the star of, Victor Feldzig, who is just this hairy producer, and now Janet is leaving, and as if that wasn't enough, there are gangsters after him who are posing as pastry chefs. Oh, just side note, I'd like to have them played by Hunter Bell and Jeff Bowen, the writers of Title of Show. They'd be very funny. They're very funny roles. Just so those are the pastry chefs. Now for Feldzig, he has to get Janet back in the show, or he's a dead man. That I'd like to see George Wendt. Very funny. He can sing. He did Bye Bye Birdie, and Hairspray. So I think he'd be perfect. And then there's this ditzy Corrine named Kitty, who who really wants to take Janet's place, and she's very stupid, and that I would like to see played by Stephanie DeBruzzo, from Avenue Q. I think she'd be very funny, and we take her away from all the puppet roles, give her something different to do, which I think would be good for her. Then, who am I forgetting? Oh! Then there is the legendario Adolfo. That would be Mark Kudish, the very funny Mark Kudish. He could do I say this every time, he's funny and he can sing. Then, for the title character of the Drowsy Chaperone, who was played originally by one of my new favorites, Beth Level, I would like to see her played by, this is pretty odd, Bonnie Hunt. Now, the first thing you would think, Bonnie Hunt, she doesn't do musicals. Well, that's true, but she can sing. I have heard her sing. She has a beautiful voice. She could do it. She could do a role like the Drowsy Chaperone. Of course, we all know how funny, how hilarious she is, and she can sing, so she's perfect. Then who am I forgetting? Am I forgetting? Well, there's the aviator Trix, who's just this she's all in the show for like 10 minutes, but that's really a cameo, and I'd like to see that role played by Tanya Pinkins from Carolina Change. She'd be great for that role. I'm trying to think, is there anyone else? No. So that is Drowsy Chaperone concert, and hopefully there will be a recording. But okay, hopefully I can do Into the Woods next. I don't know. Hopefully. Alright, but I'll see you soon.